Hi everybody, this is Surina coming to you on October 20th, 2020, um, and I've been away for a while, as I usually do, because I kind of forget that I have a channel sometimes, and, truth be told, there are things in my life that have taken priority over regular uploading, but I appreciate all of you who are still here. And I wanted to talk today briefly about personal power and feeling disconnected, because I feel like that's a very topical subject for me to dive into. I have to sort of frame it through a personal anecdote, because the past couple of months have been, in particular, pretty difficult for me in my life, but I also know that I'm not alone, that a lot of other people are also really struggling right now. We're in sort of like the 8th month or 7th month or something of the lockdown that has happened across this country, and it's been going on sometimes longer in other parts of the world. So I feel like everybody's approaching the last semester of our lockdown, and I feel like there is a danger looming that the pandemic will have a greater effect on people throughout the winter months in the Northern Hemisphere, because of how difficult it is to maintain lightheartedness and good spirits, even when there isn't a pandemic going on. I know a lot of people, like myself, struggle occasionally with seasonal depression, and the ways in which we as a human species have devised methods of remedying what I think is a very common human experience in the wintertime, but it's going to be a little bit amplified this year because there's still a global disease spreading, and I feel like we need to be a little bit more proactive about how we soothe ourselves and comfort ourselves, and the actions that we can take in order to survive that period before springtime hits next year. So I just wanted to touch base with everybody about that. And I would also like to fill you in on some of the things that have been going on in my personal world, and because I feel like they're relevant to this topic, it'll be easy for me to just do all of that together. So here goes nothing. In the past 3 months, I have been dealing with some physical health problems. Very uncomfortable and unfamiliar problems that honestly have really exacerbated some of my pre-existing mental health struggles. So like they hold hands, and they're ganging up on me and beating me up in a very strange period of history. And the problem is that the physical health problems, the diagnosable problems, are, I think, kind of playing tricks on me, because my mental health kind of deteriorated before I realized I was sick, and then by the time I had finally started getting some answers from medical doctors, I realized that I was extremely depressed. And depression is an illusionist. It makes you feel as if you can't handle the other more mundane aspects of your life. So for me, because I had started depressed, by the time I learned that I was actually sick and in need of, medical aid, the pain has felt a lot worse than perhaps it actually is. And I only kind of discovered this because for once I actually let myself have a weekend away from home, and I went to go visit some friends. And when I arrived home, not only had my pain felt either a lot easier to manage or just lessened altogether because of how that experience of seeing some of my friends and getting to cut loose for a few days changed my outlook. But I just felt like there was a weight taken off of my mind for whatever reason. And to be honest, nothing about my health situation has changed yet. You know, I'm still in limbo. Like, I might have to have surgery, but I don't know when that surgery is going to be because I haven't scheduled it yet. You know what I mean? So in terms of like the physiological symptoms and problems that I'm facing, nothing's changed. But what has changed is my personal perspective and the way that I kind of have better faith in myself to handle it now. And it also has just completely reversed a lot of the problems that I was having with my mental health in the past few months, and I hope it sticks around. But you know, it's one of those things, like, you got to keep it up, you got to keep maintenance on your own mental health. So I've sort of implemented some new changes, like I'm staying off of social media for the time being, and I'm also going to make a more concerted effort to get myself outside, because it's rare these days that I leave my house, and that can't be good for me either. I've been spending a lot of time in bed, and you know, there were some days where I felt that it was deserved. You know, I try not to overexert myself when I'm not feeling well, but I should also be getting some exercise. So, you know, trying to find that balance. But also, I just can't believe how quickly it felt like I felt better. One of the problems that I was having prior to this visit with my friends was cognitive issues, in particular, like poor memory and not being able to string sentences together properly, feeling very disconnected when I was having conversations with people, including the people in my life who I feel the closest to. So people with whom my conversations are usually much more easygoing and smooth, that was entirely different at the time. And now, you know, one weekend later, I actually feel as if I have this ability, I have my spark back. And I really do prefer that. Like, like, to be fair, pain sucks, but I would take physical pain all day if it meant that I could keep my clarity. That's just the kind of person that I am. And pain was a lot less manageable for me when I didn't have that mental clarity. So now that I feel it again, I realize how much one was playing into the other. And it's really sort of helped me gain more of like a level-headed viewpoint on how sick I really am. And time will tell, of course, because, you know, I've still got a long way to go. But if that can so very quickly decrease the physical pain that I'm feeling, imagine how, like, properly maintaining this will help me get through what is going to be probably a pretty scary time for me. Like I said, I might need to have surgery. I don't want to beat on about, like, the things that terrify me about this, but I will say that, you know, the one thing that gives me the most anxiety is not the surgery itself, but the recovery process at home, because I live alone and, you know, kind of have to take care of myself. That is a daunting future that I wasn't sure if I was ready to face it. But today, after that weekend away, I now feel like I can. I now feel like I have the strength to do that again. And so I wanted to talk about it because I feel like right now, at this point in history, specifically at this point in the year 2020 in this country, because we're facing an election, I feel like there is this propensity for us to feel like we are powerless. And I don't know how much I actually believe that that's true. I think that as powerless as we feel, we just forget that we have personal power. Like, one human person may not be able to change the entire course of history and save the world from a pandemic or from fascism or, you know, insert shitty situation here. But what we can do is sort of work together with our own little pieces of personal power. I think that's a lot more impactful, and I also think it works a lot better. Imagine asking one person to lift a vehicle. to save someone crushed underneath it. I mean, unless you're Hercules, I don't think that that's going to happen, but what you can do is employ all of the people on the street to assist you in lifting that vehicle so that you can rescue the crushed person, because each of you has something within your personal power. You each provide a little bit of strength to help a bigger movement. And that's something that I feel like we keep forgetting. We keep forgetting this as we approach election time. And, you know, we also kind of forget, just from a more broad view American political perspective, we forget the kind of influence that America has on the rest of the world. Like, I hate to say it, but we're kind of a superpower, so we need to be responsible for that as individual citizens. So as much as I empathize with this feeling of despair and powerlessness, I implore everyone to take a nice deep breath, maybe close your social media feed for a while, and just allow yourself to see the potential of what each individual act of personal power can provide the greater whole. I feel like if we succumb to despair now, we're writing our own demise, and that's something that I don't want to see happen. I don't think there are too many people that do. I know a lot of my friends have this weird sense of gallows humor where they're like, oh, I just want an asteroid to hit the Earth or whatever. And you know what? I have a hard time laughing at those things, because that's like the opposite of what I want to happen. Like, I don't want everything to be just like this absurdist catastrophe. And I also just don't think it's going to happen. I think that, you know, humanity has a lot more grit and a lot more shit to fight for, and a lot more life left in it. And as bleak as this year has been, I just really don't see this as the end. We are incredibly resilient, and I want us to remind ourselves of that resilience right now. It may not even be applicable in the months to come. You know, we may breathe a sigh of relief. Who knows? I'm not really sure yet, but I can't predict the future. What I can tell you is what I can observe right now. And what I observe right now is a country, and by a ripple effect, the entire world, who is like losing a lot of faith. And because I've been struggling with a loss of faith recently, it's important for me to express that to you. I want us to survive. I want you to want us to survive too. So let's just remember that we're here for each other, and that even in the times when we feel the loneliest and the most isolated, we're not really alone, because there are a lot of other people who are also feeling this. If it helps, I'm in therapy. My counselor told me a couple weeks ago that right now, those memory problems that I said I was having, a lot of her other clients are also having those problems right now. So, kind of fits. Kind of see a pattern here. So I'm going to do my part to make sure that I have the strength to continue. And I hope you do as well. I think that's it. I think that's all I had to say. Awkward pause. Oh, you guys want to see the kitty? Ugh. Pardon my camera work. Here she is. The sleeping baby. Yeah. You know, we can all just live our lives like cats. Just be carefree and sleep when we're tired and puke on the carpet when we feel ill. I think that sounds pretty nice. How about you? I love you, Pixel. And I love all of you too. This video has been awkward.